I'm Jeanette with Hounds here at NECA 2025 in Chicago, and I'm super excited to be sitting down with Spencer West, aka American Electrician. How did you get into becoming an influencer?
So really crazy. I was watching every YouTube video ever. I loved the tools especially, and so I just started making. They're still up, but to this day, some awful, terrible videos. It was actually Hoosier Sparky, which was the worst name ever. But I started making a couple videos, and they did well, even though they sounded terrible and they looked terrible, and I think somewhere over 300 videos, long form videos later, and like 700 short form videos later, we're here. So we made it. But just the like the loving the tools, loving the trades, and kind of trying to help inform people about that. It turned into this. So
That's why you're so good. We talk about it a lot at our team. I'm like, the video quality is so good. It's got so many reps.
yeah,
Good for you. Did you have like video experience be like, how did you, because you're very, very, very good. Like
yeah.
the
Thank you.
quality and your framing and your lighting and your, like, how do you produce this content? Like, you're shooting with cameras? Like, how did you actually like learn to do all that?
Yeah. So it went like I did like 3 or 4 videos with my phone. From there, I bought a GoPro, and I did that for one video and realized it was no better than my phone. And then I bought a camera, and from there, I think it's just the mindset that you have with everything, that like whatever I do, I want to do it the best that I can. It's the same thing with electrical. It's the same thing with content. It's the same thing with the tools. Like whatever I have, I want to do it to the best of my ability. And in doing that, I've been involved with my church pretty heavily for years. I bought a camera, like 6 videos in, and then from there, it was like 2 months after that I started doing church media as well. So I have like 1,000 videos made for YouTube and for social, and on top of that, do a pretty significant amount for churches as well.
The churches do such a good job with the high quality video content. We used to be a video professor, and my students who had that experience with their churches, it was the craziest thing. I'm like, you guys have good equipment, and then you get the reps.
There's so much of it too, and like you at the end of the day, like I really just want to put out the best quality for whatever it is, not just the look, but also the performance as well, because there's a lot of other things that go into the back end of it. And so that's one of the things that I've really focused on, is not just making sure that it looks good, but also making sure it flows well, it communicates to the person that you're trying to speak to, and then from there, like relays your message, and obviously it performs well and gets in front of people. So
And you shoot and edit everything yourself?
yes. So I have for since the beginning. I want to hire an editor eventually, but it's so hard to let go. And truthfully, it doesn't take me that much time anymore. I'm so proficient in it now, and I have so many reps under my belt that it's easier for me to do it myself than it is to kind of let go of that control, which I know eventually, like I should, but I don't know that I ever will. So we'll see.
I still feel that way. And I have a whole team of amazing people who are like expert videographers and editors.
Hmm.
And I will still, and I have way too much on my plate, I'll still be like, oh, I call dibs on that edit. I call dibs on that edit. Because I think it's so fun. Like, do
Yeah.
you enjoy that part?
I really do. It's cool. It's a lot more work, I think, than people realize.
Yeah, it is. People are like, oh, it's a minute video. It took you 1 minute to make it.
No, especially for me, like I'm very intentional too, and so for our long form videos, sometimes I'll put in like 20-ish hours worth of research. Whether like starting off with idea creation, I'll spend a couple hours on that, title, like thumbnail, think about that stuff, think all the way through, and then from there go into scripting a few parts. I don't script all of the long form videos, just the intros and the transitions. And then like I'll go through all of the reviews from obviously I use the tools and different things like that, but then I'll go through all the reviews from every website, pull everything, and make sure that I didn't miss something. And that way I can bring it up, and so that way if people are either purchasing a product, they have all the information, or if it's a trade like specific thing, then I want to have all the information too, because it differs so much from area to area. My experience in Indiana, which is where I like came up doing it at, can be so significantly different from somebody in even just Illinois, just one state over. And the same thing with companies and different things like that. It can be the same area, different company, and it can just be completely different. So I like to be able to inform the people that are watching, not just about my experience, but about what the general saying is, at least educated general thought is on it. So
And you're making content that professional electricians are seeing. And so that's like a tough crowd. Like, that's a really, I don't know if you've noticed this. That's a tough crowd.
Yeah.
They will call you out if it is wrong.
Yes.
And so you really do have to be really on top of it to ensure
Absolutely.
that when you're teaching people, like you want people to, of course, learn from you and then be able to do the install or do whatever. And so you want it to be right.
Right.
But you also probably want it to be right because people in the comments will tell you when it's not right.
I think they'll disagree with things that are true sometimes too.
I've seen that also. Oh, yeah, just for fun, just to mess with you.
Well, I mean, like, they're very serious about it, but like products that I've used for a long time, like specifically, there's a screwdriver that Wera makes. It's their like chisel driver, and it's very tough. Like I've had it for like 5 or 6 years now. It's never broke on me. I've abused it. I've beat it. I've done everything to it. And I have people telling me that it's fragile and that it breaks easy. And I'm like, I know that it's not for a fact, but I think people have different experiences.
Yeah.
And so there's certain things that I try to get the general consensus with. And there's certain things that I'm like, no, I know that this isn't just something that's a fluke for me. This is how it is. And that person probably had a different experience with it. So their thought on it is different. But for the most part, I try to get, to see all angles of it or see if there's certain features or certain things that I missed. But yeah, sometimes I think people are just wrong too. So
Yeah.
it is definitely a very opinionated crew.
Yeah.
And I love it. Those are my people. That's who I like in making the videos. That's who I'm serving. And so I'm trying to help. And so I love it. And some people are grumpier than others, and it shows through some of the comments, but it's all about you'll see like 5,000 likes and you'll see like 10 negative comments.
Yeah.
And the 10 negative comments feel really heavy, but when you look at the general, the loudest voice is usually the one that you think is the major opinion. But in reality, you look at, however many thousands of views, however many thousands of likes, and then it's dwindled down to just a few negative comments, which at the end of the day, it could be anything. So
Yeah, it's one of those things, I guess, when you create content, you just have to like take it and try to not focus on it. But I do know that anybody who puts some stuff out there,
yeah,
yourself included, like that you have, unfortunately, that's part of it. So props for keep going, keep doing it, because there are so many people who really benefit from it. There's so many people who see it and learn from you. And then there are a lot of young people. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Like the videos that you are making aren't only seen by professional electricians, they're also seen by like teenagers who may not have really thought that they would enter this industry. So right now we talk a lot about the skilled trade work shortage. That's a biggest topic that everybody talks about, is like, how do you recruit young people into the industry? Do you ever get any feedback from like younger people who see your content and they're like, oh, maybe I should do that?
absolutely. That's one of the big reasons that I enjoy it so much. I was just talking to one of the guys who started, and they'll a lot of them will talk. I don't know a lot of them, but some of them will talk to me and tell me too, and they'll say, "Hey, I got into the trade because of you," and it's really cool to see that and to like see some of them grow. I think the guy I was talking to yesterday is like a third year now, and so it's like really crazy. He found me really early on. But it's really crazy to like see those people that are like, hey, I did this like because of you, and I'm really enjoying it. I really like it, and so to get to talk to those people or meet them at the shows is so cool. It's one of the most rewarding things, and it's the main reason that I like to do content and that I like to do social is like I don't just get to affect myself and like I don't just get to affect my crew, but I get to affect hundreds of thousands, millions of people and influence the industry in a way that's positive. It's very easy to be negative in the industry, but to be able to be a positive light and to be able to help push people towards that. When I got into the trades, I was 19 and I really didn't want to. My dad said, you should try it out. You should do this. I went to college for a year. I left. I had some lifestyle choices that weren't great. And I really started to turn that around, but I didn't know if I wanted to go back to school. I went home, and in doing that, I wanted to avoid the trades. I was like, that's a lower class thing. That's something that people who aren't smart do. I'm not going to enjoy that. I'm not going to make much money. 6 years later, I'm finding out that that's not true. And so being able to help dispel those lies to people who are younger is so nice to be able to say, no, I enjoy what I do. I do make good money every day. I get to wake up and go do something cool. I get to see all these cool job sites, different things like that. So to be able to help somebody else make that decision, that could be one of the best things they've ever done. It's really an honor, and it's one of the reasons that I really enjoy making content so much. So in the same way, like a lot of my content is about tools, but that's one of my favorite parts about the trade. Like they're like toys for adults, and so it's something that I was really interested in, and so being able to help other people like kind of find that part of the job that's like fun and like entertaining, and they get to change up and they get to try new things is another big reason why like I do make so much content about tools. So it's nice.
Was your dad also in the trades? Is that why he encouraged you?
No, he wasn't in the trades, especially at the time. When he was younger, he did do a lot of work. I don't want to say handyman work, but he did run a maintenance company.
Yeah.
And then when we moved from Illinois to Indiana, he stopped doing that and got into management and has worked in factories. So he just been around it his whole life. And one of those things that like you don't, especially when you're 19, you don't want your parents to you don't want to listen to your parents. But I did, and I always we bring it up now a lot, especially because I'll talk about it and stuff like that. And he watches a lot of my stuff, which is cool. But he'll always see it and kind of poke fun at it. But it is one of those things that like he was right, and I kind of lost that one, and I'm definitely okay with it because I enjoy my life a lot, and I don't know what it would be like if I hadn't gone into the trade. So.
It's nice that you had a little bit of that exposure when you were a kid too, because that's something I always am interested in with people. Like, did you see this growing up? Did you? Because that's like a big thing. Like, well, maybe we can resolve this job shortage if we just like expose young children to the trades. Maybe we should integrate into schools more. Like we're always talking about like, what do we do?
Yeah.
How do we do that? And so I'm always fascinated with people, like people's stories. I grew up around it like all the time. Like I had cement on my hands. I would carve my name in the cement floors as my dad was laying them down. I was always like playing with hammers and tools from when I was very young. And so for me, when I started working at Trade Hounds, I felt so comfortable with it because I was like, yeah, this is, I've grown up around this. And I felt like I knew what we were talking about and I
Right.
felt confident. But I imagine for people who never had any exposure to it, that maybe is a reason that younger kids don't see themselves in the trades. So do you have any advice for like what we could be doing as an industry to encourage more young people to see themselves in this type of a job?
Personally, I avoided it because I didn't know the benefits of it. I had a very skewed view of it. That was lower class. It was you're not going to be like, it's for people who aren't as smart. It's for people who, it's a second option basically. And so I did grow up around it a little bit. Like I do remember enjoying, like my dad would flip houses, and I remember like really enjoying going in and like seeing the studs, seeing everything torn down, and seeing how it would change over time. So seeing that type of stuff was cool. But then when I got into high school, it was really pushed that you want to go to college, so hard pushed. And so that was like in my mind, that was the only way to go make money. I love business. Entrepreneurship has always been something I've been interested in. And so that's one of the things that I was like, in order to start a business, I have to go to college. And it turns out that's not accurate. And that's one of the things I love about the electrical field so much is that you can go in, you can like learn how to do the electrical, you can get your license, you can kind of go with a company and like learn how to do project management, and those type of things. And then from there, you're a lot more equipped in 7 years and you're making money then to run a business on your own than you would be to go to business school. So Personally, that was my turn off from it. But I think just educating kids, and I do this a lot now too, because not only with the socials, but I do a lot of youth ministry too. So I work with a lot of kids, and I always tell them, like, if you can find a hard skill set, for one, you'll always be employed. I can move across the country tomorrow and have a job in a week. It's that easy. But also, like, as far as like servicing and doing those type of things, like, it's easier, in my opinion, to learn the business side of things than it is to get into it from having the knowledge of business, that it doesn't always translate, especially not to this industry. So I think education is the biggest thing, of like really getting rid of those negative stereotypes that aren't true, or they're true in small sections. My first journeyman, the people that I went with on my first couple crews, like, they're awesome people. They're good people. It wasn't some ugly lifestyle that, you know, they just weren't smart, and they were going out and doing all this crazy stuff, and everything was super wild. Like, I worked in a really nice environment with really good people. Truthfully, I think that's the majority. And I think just like we were talking about with the negative comments, I think that sometimes the loudest voice is the one that they think is the most prominent, and it's just not the case. So
Yeah, we were when you were talking about your journeyman, we were making this documentary as well about women in the trades, and Sonu was telling me earlier that your journeyman was a woman,
yes.
and that was interesting to me because I don't think I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
So it was really crazy. I got thrown into, like, my first day on the job. We went in to do training for one day, and we didn't have any like program to onboard that was like educational. So it was just like, do our company's stuff the first day. Second day, go meet Danielle at the job site. And we were retrofitting lights, which is like really it's very fast paced. I was super green. I had no idea what things were, like how to do things. I wasn't good with like power tools, any of it. Very, very green. And on my way to the job site, I was like nervous, and I was like, what is this lady gonna be like? Like, how is this and in the same way, like, with the negative stereotype of people being like kind of rough and tough and rude, I was like, oh, is this lady going to be difficult to get along with? It's just me and her. We're at a laundromat, retrofitting lights. So I was like, how is this going to be? And I was sitting in my car trying to get my hard hat, the piece in my hard hat in, and I couldn't figure it out. And she pulled up in the van, and I'd never met her, I'd never seen her, and I had to ask her, and she was like, "Oh yeah, this happens all the time. Like, here you go." And I met her, and she was just the sweetest, kindest lady, and she was one of probably the hardest worker I've ever met. She, like, even after I wasn't green, she could outwork me and like outpace me with retrofitting. It was ridiculous. But again, with that negative stereotype, I was like, what is this going to be like? What is she going to be like? And truthfully, like, she was just super kind and super sweet. Just like what you would expect. Not what I expected, I guess, in that situation, but I was like very thankful, and like we were good friends, and we worked together for like a couple months before I left doing the retrofitting and went to just doing like regular electrical work. But it was really cool to like be able to meet Danielle, and kind of see that firsthand. So
Yeah, did that affect the way that you kind of proceeded in your career as it relates to like gender on the job site?
yeah, definitely did, because like I said, I mean, she was the hardest worker that I've ever met, and so like then from there, knowing like it won't be like that with every woman that I work with, but that's still a possibility, that like she's the one who set me up in my career for that. She showed me how to work hard, how to be like efficient. And so not only did it help my perspective with like women in the trade, but it also like gave me the perspective of what hard work was like. Because up until that point, I had worked quite a bit during the summers, and some during the school year, but I played football. So like there wasn't a ton of time after school. I would work every summer doing groundskeeping. So I would work hard during that, but it was just I was in high school. And so she really helped set a standard for me at the beginning of like, this is what hard work is. this is what it's like. We want to be as efficient as possible. We want to get things done well. We want to get them done quickly. And we want to really cover everything that we can, as good as we can, as fast as we can. So, yeah, not only with the perspective of women in the trade, but also of like what working hard was. She's the person who said it for me. So it was very, very good for me long term.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you sitting here with us, and it's such a pleasure to see you in real life here at NECA. I mean, it's been so cool to see so many influencers and all the brands that we work with and everything here. And I'm excited to keep following you in your journey on social. If you guys don't already follow him, make sure that you do and give him some likes and subscribe. And thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.